All right, hey everybody, Tasha here with Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. Tiff's running just a little bit late, but right now we do have Miss Shana Silver, mentor for Pitchwars, here with us. How are you today, Shana?
I'm good. How are you? Viewers?
She is so adorable, by the way, guys. I love her to death already. I just met her. So, and Shana, you are mentoring YA, right?
No, I'm doing adult and new adult.
Adult and new adult, that's it. So adult and new adult, but you write YA.
Yes.
Okay, that's where it was. See, I'm dyslexic. It's okay. And it looks like Tiff is coming in to join us. Maybe, possibly. I see her picture.
I see her picture too.
Okay, so she's trying. So you can follow Shana here at Shana Silver, and then that's Twitter. Her website is shana-silver.com, and she's represented by Jim McCarthy, by Distel and Godrich. Did I say that right?
Yes, I think. I have no idea.
Hey, Tiff. Welcome to the party. So, and then Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, hi, I'm sorry, will be by R.S. Preiser, which is her other name. And that is coming out in 2015, I want to say?
Spring 2015. I'm not sure the actual release date yet.
Not sure the actual release date, we just know spring 2015. So be on the lookout for that, because just the title sounds awesome.
Aw, thank you.
Hi. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, other than Tasha trying to Google call me while I'm driving my truck.
I didn't know she was driving. How was I supposed to know this? Nobody said you had to answer. I'm like, really? Are you driving and trying to? Okay. So.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to be an asshole and ignore your phone call. But
you just, yeah, I would prefer you be an asshole and ignore me when you're driving. Just saying.
Yeah, dude, I'm like the coolest person ever. I can do like 5. I can drive, text, talk on the phone, and do my makeup. I'm a pimp.
She is the queen multitasker.
Yeah.
Veronica says she's having internet.
For being like the guy.
I'm sorry, what happened, Shana?
I just see Veronica said that she's having internet issues.
Ah, okay, no problem. So, if she needs another invite, no. Hold on, I'm gonna just put Shana up for now, so people don't have a seizure going back and forth between the three of us talking. So. All right, so Emma and Emily are here. Hello, ladies.
Uh-oh, we have people in the house. Shana was actually the first mentor that I convoed with on Twitter when all this crazy shit started. She was on my preliminary list of 7.
That's exciting.
When I first started researching mentors, so.
That's
the first one that tweeted me back and shit. It felt special.
Aww.
I was like, look, she tweeted me. Look at it.
I was all excited when it first started, and I wanted people to talk to me.
Okay, we wanted you guys to talk to us too. We were like, what if they ignore us?
Oh, we didn't want to ignore you. We were hoping you guys would talk to us.
Oh, yeah, we're not shy, as you can tell. So
yeah, I think the mentors are hoping. That's all right.
Adorable. But so tell us a little bit about what you were looking for from your submissions for Pitch Wars. What kind of genres and such?
So basically, I didn't really limit it, but I had written on the blog that I was interested in adult sci-fi, magical realism, like new adult set in college, contemporary, but I've actually gotten a lot of great submissions in other genres outside of that. So basically, I'm just looking for a story that sweeps me off my feet.
That's
she
awesome.
did. My genre wasn't even listed on her blog. And then I was on Twitter. I was like, hey, do you want to read some shit in this genre? She was like, I'll take that too. And I was just like, all right.
Yeah, I would actually say about half were not from the genres I listed, and I liked a lot of them, so it's all good.
I know. It's you were like, it was up until we had the Twitter conversation, because I kept tagging the 6 of you in it. It was up until the Twitter conversation about violence.
Violence, right? Yeah.
Yep.
That's
it was
the only
the
thing
violence.
I'm very wimpy.
Not wimpy. Not everybody likes blood and gore.
Violence is high fantasy.
For
me to do
my urban fantasy is full of blood and gore. That's why I didn't submit to it. I was like, no, she's not gonna like that. Yep. Moving on.
I like sweeter things. If I read the violence, I'd probably tone it down in my head and, like, I don't know, take sparkles or something.
Like, I'm going to block this out. We're going to pretend like this isn't as bad as it is, blocking it out, blocking it out.
That's really kind of hard in my manuscript because there are some just like graphic parts. And Tiff was like, even Tiff was like, wow, okay, there's something wrong with you.
I read a couple parts in her book, and then I messaged her, and I was like, dear Tasha, please get therapy. If you're already in therapy, please get a better psychiatrist. I'm worried.
I actually have a psychologist and a psychiatrist. One to talk to and one to prescribe the pills. So.
Well, they're doing a terrible job then, and I still fear for you.
Oh, thanks, really. So, Shana, is this your first year mentoring?
Yes, it is.
Were you ever like a contestant on Pitchwars before, or ever participated in any way?
No, I wasn't. It was kind of off my radar for a while, and I had a different agent for the last couple of years, and then when I parted ways in the spring, I was looking for a new agent, and that's when the contests kind of came my way, and they helped me out with getting my new agent, so I really wanted to pay it forward.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic. So that kind of worked out really well for you.
Yes, yes.
That's like my nightmare of being a published author, is having an agent and then having like a parting of the ways, because I really don't do well with separation.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I think it happens a lot more often than people think it does.
Aw, thanks, Nikki. So Nikki is one of our faithful followers. She watches us all the time. She likes to put us on her big screen TV and then make fun of me when like Tiff's internet craps out or she has to go take care of her kids, so I'm just talking to myself. So she loves to like screen cap that and then put it on Twitter. Yes, I remember this, Nikki. So Danielle Doolittle said, peeks in on Pitchwars. Hey guys, how's it going? Anyone have fingernails left? And Nikki goes, yes, but hashtag WWW whiskey when I'm writing. That's us. The Pitchwars show makes it better. So thanks for that, Nikki. That's awesome.
We save fingernails.
Well, I don't have fingernails to begin with. Mine are tiny, so.
Mine are too.
When I get like acrylics, they're like, really? You have like child nails? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
With these, I can't have long nails.
I prefer to do the short ones, and then the last time I got them done, when I had them done for quite a while, I actually got them long, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't killed myself with them yet. I was so proud.
Wait, hold on a second. Tasha, whose email do I need to get? God damn it, guys. I'm so confused.
Oh, I think Veronica's here.
Is Veronica here? Sup?
I think she's coming in. It's just taking
What's Fiona's last name?
No, that's okay. I've got so many emails and so many people, I'm losing my mind. Fiona McLaren.
Okay.
So.
And you need her email?
Yes, because she's going to be joining us at 9 p.m. So I kind of need her email to bring her in. Hello, Veronica.
Sorry, I was on the wrong Google account.
Oh, that's okay. It happens.
Veronica.
If it makes you feel any better, we had a late start because Hangouts was not being at all, nice. So we were having technical difficulties to begin with. It's just one of those nights. So. Ladies and gentlemen, all our viewers, this is Veronica Bartles. You can get her at vbartles.com or at vbartles for Twitter, and her debut novel is 12 Steps. Now, is that already published out?
Yes, it came out in March.
Oh, yay. Sorry, this is going on my to-buy list because all the mentors, if their books are out, I'm like making a list to buy them as I get money.
Or if their books are coming out in the spring.
Hey, guys. As if I don't spend enough money. Thanks. You publish books. Damn it.
Well, I haven't checked this week, but I know the last time I checked, Books A Million had mine on sale, so.
Uh-oh. We all like that.
The magic word. She said the S word. Sale. So, Veronica, let's catch you up. What are you mentoring for Pitchwars?
I'm mentoring young adults.
Young adult, and what were your genres for that?
Mostly contemporary, but I was kind of open to pretty much everything as long as it was upbeat. I'm not really the best for the dark, scary kind of things.
Oh, so we've got two mentors on the lighter side for both adult, new adult, and young adult. So it's like it's through the whole stream there. That's awesome. So if you guys do romance, do you prefer the HEAs, the happily ever afters?
Oh, definitely. There's no point in a romance without a happily ever after.
Well, happily ever after.
Unless it doesn't need a happily ever after, and then
I just need a satisfying ending, whether it's happy or not.
So just a satisfying ending. It's got to fit with the book, and hopefully it's a happy ending, is what you're saying.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
The way I look at it, if it works for the story and it works for the book, then it is a happily ever after.
That's true.
I like
so that works out well. So Veronica, tell us a little bit about 12 Steps. What's it about?
It is about a girl who is sick and tired of living in her perfect older sister's shadow, and she decides she needs a 12-step program for second-class siblings.
Oh, that's awesome. Second-class siblings. All right, I actually like the premise. That's awesome. I'm just getting into like YA because I don't know. I always felt weird going to the bookstore and walking in the YA section like they're thinking you're too old for this.
I have read some awesome young adult books. Like some of the young adult books I've read have been better than the adult books. I'm not going to hate on young adults.
I would get them online, but I'd always feel weird walking into the bookstore.
Like, because I write adult, it pisses me off that the adult has to compete with young adult because everything's young adult heavy, as far as I can tell. But I still read young adult because who doesn't want to read about dumbass 16-year-olds and all the mistakes they make? Because that's awesome. I'm just saying.
And Shana, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Alice in Wonderland High.
It's a non-fantasy retelling of Alice in Wonderland High set in high school in which Alice joins an underground society of teenage environmentalists, and like the Cheshire Cat is a cute boy with a killer smile who has a penchant for disappearing, stuff like that.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
The short pitch.
That's why when I read her freaking bio, I was like, I want to submit to her. Because we all know how I feel about Alice in Wonderland. It happens to be like my favorite obsession as far as like kids' books and shit go. But then of course, it was all like, I don't need blood and gore, and she had to crush all my hopes and dreams, but it's okay.
There is no blood and gore in Alice in Wonderland High.
It's okay. I don't need blood and gore. I just write blood and gore. Have you not watched our show before? I'm probably the most...
Well, for Blood Moon, there's blood and gore in mine, but for Redemption, which is, I just finished the first draft and I'm working on the first round of self-edits, there's no blood and gore in it at all. I mean...
No, it's only about a serial killer's daughter. That's not fucking creepy
Yes,
at all.
it's about the serial killer's daughter, but
she's not killing people.
Yeah, Shana. Blood Moon. If you have a weaker stomach than me, Blood Moon would have made you puke. Because I got a little queasy a couple times. I was like, I think I'm going to put this down for a minute. I'll call you later, Tasha.
Nikki says, at V Bartles, totally checked out your book trailer today for 12 Steps and loved it. Wait, you have a book trailer?
Yes, actually, I have 2 book trailers that my teenage son and daughter made for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So, do you want to pimp out the links really quick so you can get a rush of people looking at it?
Actually, on my website, vbartles.com, I have them embedded on the My Books page.
I'm going there now. And then I will link them on Twitter. Oh, okay, I see them. 12 Steps and Intro to Characters. So is that the intro to the characters for 12 Steps?
Yes.
That's awesome. Did you use actors, or what did you use for the pictures?
Actually, I went and I got some stock photos that looked like my kids said that my characters would look like.
Hey, it works.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's awesome. I do that with Scrivener. I'll put pictures of what, I'll get an idea of a character in my head, and I'll scour Google or Tumblr until I find a picture that is similar, and then I post it into Scrivener so I have a constant in my head of what my character looks like.
I do that too for some of mine as well.
That was so easy to do for Auction Block just because of who the male lead was based off of, and like I have his stuff like bookmarked anyway, so it's fine. That was good.
Yeah, I'm horrible with casting my characters, so I had to make my kids help me with that, because for me, I can picture the eyes and the smile, and I know the attitude just perfectly, but like hair color and anything else, it's like, oh, I don't know what that person looks like for real. But, that's how I look at people in real life, too. I only notice their eyes and how they smile. So.
Well, Veronica, we should get together then, and I'll read about your characters and give you a full description, because I describe my male characters down to their damn abs. So.
That works.
Like, the outline of his abs, the six-pack, all the way. I'm like, okay, really stop. This is not, I want to focus on the story. You're making me drool. So.
That's right, drool. That's the whole point. Dude, I write romance. If women aren't drooling and becoming sexually frustrated, I'm not writing correctly. That's all I'm saying.
Emma said I had a beta reader come back to me saying she would never buy my books because of who I killed in the end.
Oh, damn.
That's cruel and unusual. Hi, Lane. Lane is here. She's also a faithful watcher. So that's hilarious.
She's also my faithful CP. Thank you. Give Lane a little bit more credit. She has to read my crap.
Lane apparently also draws her characters because she's.
She does. Lane does.
I can't draw.
She drew my characters. She drew my characters for Silent Hearts, and it was totally adorable. I was like, they're so cute, like little cartoon characters. And I'm like, Sorry, they were adorable.
I can't draw. I don't know about you guys. I can't draw. That would never work.
I do not have artistic fingers.
I was actually an art major, but I can't really draw from thin air. I have to look at something, I guess.
So you need a point of reference.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Very cool. So,
my husband is an artist, though, and he sometimes draws my characters for me.
That works. Yeah, I don't have anybody who's that good at drawing. I mean, I have my cousin. She's a graphic designer, and she does comics and stuff. But she does more of the animated comics. So for me, I'd kind of want a more human, realistic.
I'm sorry. I just got the best mental image ever.
I don't even want to know.
No, Tasha, the scene with Mac and Benny.
Yes.
I'm picturing that as a cartoon.
Really? That would be like Sin City cartoon. Okay.
That would be so awesome. I'm sorry.
So, Veronica, have you been a Pitchwars mentor before, or is this your first time?
Last year, I was a Pitchwars mentor for middle grade.
Oh, okay, so you switched it up this year. Any particular reason?
Well, last year I did middle grade because I had just signed with my agent for my middle grade novel, and so middle grade was fresh in my mind. This year I'm doing young adult because my debut young adult novel came out this year, and I'm working on my next young adult novel, so I've got that in my mind right now. So that's the mindset I'm in right now.
That's awesome. So, and ladies, I am going to say thank you so much for doing this. We know your time is precious. You have deadlines. You have writing of your own to do. You have so much to do. So for you guys to take it out of your day to help somebody else, get their novel published, that's really awesome, you guys.
Yeah,
of course, we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us two very special individuals, and I use special very loosely. So I'll clear on that.
I was gonna say, okay.
Shut up, Tasha. Shut up.
No, I'm not saying anything. Just.
Are you drinking again?
Of course.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, that's my one drink, so I need it after today.
Surrounded by drunken idiots, I swear.
But so I forgot what I was gonna ask. Tiff distracted me. Thank you, Tiff. Really? Okay. Well, while I'm trying to think, you guys are welcome to ask your questions in the Q&A feed. Veronica, I meant to tell you, on your left-hand side of your screen, you can open up the Q&A tab. There should be a little pop-out, and you'll see Q&A. If you click on it, it'll show the Q&A screen, which I've cleaned out. And for those of you watching on YouTube, you can hit us up at Twitter, at 30nerdy, at TRozAuthor, at VBartles, and at Shana Silver, right?
Yes.
Victory is mine. So.
And I would just like to point out that apparently these videos are doing some people good because we don't have less than 90 views on any of the videos.
That's
They're all
awesome.
above 90
Well,
views
that's
on
not us, though. That's Shana and Veronica and the mentors and everything like that.
Yeah, I was going to say Rebecca Yaros and Brooks Benjamin are the two biggest right now. So Rebecca's got 155 views and Brooks has got 156 views. They can duke it out on Twitter for which one of them.
Well, obviously we have to beat them.
Yeah.
So Shana was like, do you have a day job, or is writing your career, or?
Yeah, I actually work in publishing, but the uncool side of it in educational publishing.
Oh.
So I basically create online grammar courses taught in universities.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Have you heard of ABC Publishing? They're a textbook publishing company out of Georgia.
I've heard of them, yes.
I worked for them.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, I was just on contractual basis going through the textbooks, the grammar textbooks and everything like that, making sure there were no errors and stuff, but hey, I worked for them. So.
I spent my entire 3 years of college on the phone with Pearson, on and off, the whole time.
One of her rivals.
Yeah.
And what about you, Miss Veronica? Do you have a day job or just writing, or?
I'm a full-time mom.
That's awesome.
That's
How
a
many
job.
kids do you have, by the way? How many kids do you have?
4.
Tiff, you have 3. That's not a big leap. I mean,
Dude, why do you think we stopped at 3? Because the 4th one, I'd have sold them all to somebody in Guam and I'd have moved. I'd have been like, peace, I'm out.
Yep. I have a son and 3 daughters.
Oh, God bless you, tart. I have 2 daughters.
That's the complete opposite of my friend. She's got 3 boys and 1 daughter. So y'all need to get together and have like a.
Veronica, which one do you think's easier? Do you think boys are easier or girls?
Oh, I don't think there is an easier.
I have 2 girls, so I have 2 daughters. My oldest 2 are girls. My youngest is 16 months. He's the boy. I swear to God, I would take 150 of him over half of one of them any day. Any day.
Really? You're scaring me. I have a 2-year-old daughter, so.
Aww. I don't have any yet, so hopefully in the next year I'm going to be preggo. So.
Yeah, my kids. Be right back, guys.
Belly and all that stuff. So, but so Emma says that Shana looks like Michaela Conlon. I'm jealous. I don't know who that is. Who's Michaela Conlon?
I'm Googling now.
Okay.
She's on Bones.
She's on. Oh, I still don't know who that is. So, so how do you guys find the time?
That's gorgeous.
How do you guys find the time to being, mothers working? And yes, I consider a mother to 4 children, stay-at-home mom, a full-time job. So, with the full-time jobs and the responsibilities, how do you guys find the time to write and get your novels out?
Well, for me, luckily, I have a very supportive family, and they, from time to time, send me to my room and tell me, Mom, you need to write. You have not done that yet today.
Oh, it's awesome.
I make them do their homework. They make me do my homework.
That's how it should be. And what about you, Shana?
Well, I have a 2-hour commute from Central Jersey into New York City, so I do a lot of my writing on that and on my lunch break. 2 days a week I work from home, and I pick up the baby from daycare an hour later than I should, and I use that time for writing, and then her naps on the weekend. So it's very specific times, and because I know I have limited time, I try to make the most of it.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. So you guys are really both good at time management.
Sure.
It's so.
Can you guys make Tasha and I a schedule? Because we suck at time management.
Actually, on my blog, I have a revision schedule that I drafted a couple months ago, to help people figure out how to schedule their writing time.
Oh, okay. So everybody hear that? We need to find that link.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I try to write every day, but I'm editing Redemption, going through the first week of that, and then I started a new work in progress that I have no idea where it's going because it was kind of one of those late nights, I can't sleep. Oh, hey, here's a character. Oh, here's a semi-plot. Let me start building on this and putting dots in. That's generally how my stuff works. I don't know.
I feel terrible.
That's how mine do.
I've written 1 chapter in 6 days.
You've also had a lot going on family-wise, so, you know.
My kids get back to school tomorrow. Here's the happy dance.
By the way, guys, I do find that weird. Her kids start school on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, in the middle of the week.
Mine started on
only.
Really? I don't know. Well, ours
One
always
of my kids.
12th of August, mine started.
Wow.
Yeah.
Schools don't start till next week in New Jersey.
Only one of my kids starts tomorrow.
Ours started last week for grade school. Started last Monday, and then college started this week. So.
Wow.
Yeah, no, my oldest starts tomorrow. She's in 2nd grade. And then I have my other daughter is going into pre-K. She goes Friday for a whole hour. And then she comes home. And then they're off on Monday for the holiday. And then she goes on Tuesday for a half a day and Thursday or Wednesday for a half a day. And then her first full day is not till Thursday. I'm like, what the hell? Why can't we just send them to school so they can go?
Yeah.
So, Veronica, what is that one book that you read as a child that made you say, you know, I want to do this. This is my love. This is my passion.
Why does it have to be when she was a kid?
It had to have been The Fire Cat.
The Fire Cat.
The Fire Cat. It's this old, like, picture book. I remember I loved that book. It was about this cat who was bigger than all the other cats, and he was kind of a bully to the little cats, and he had to learn to not be a bully. And I just, for some reason, I just loved this book so much, and I made my older sister read it to me constantly until she finally got tired of reading it and taught me how to read so that I could read it myself.
Okay, at least she didn't throw it in the fire. I was about to have a Little Women moment where, you know, Jo gets all her stories thrown into the fire by the youngest, whose name I can't remember. Oh my God, what was the youngest kid's name in Little Women? What was Amy?
Which
was that Amy, the youngest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one who threw the book. There you go. Shana got it. She remembered. And she threw it all in, so she had to write all her stories from scratch. I was like, man, did you try to make up this story from scratch because your sister did? That's where I was going with that. I'm weird. I'm sorry. And Shana, what about you?
I'm sure there was stuff that I read when I was really young, but the book that I credit to making me want to actually be a writer is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, which I read in high school, and immediately after finishing it, I wrote my first novel, which was really bad and will never see the light of day, but it got me writing.
It is really bad. Nobody's ever going to see it again.
Well, it had no plot, and the characters didn't have character names, so that was a pretty bad move on my part, but whatever.
Hey, some of the best short stories have characters that don't actually have names.
There's also no plot, though, so...
You could fix that.
If it makes you feel any better, my mom is a pack rat, and I apparently wrote a 1-page of, the legal pad paper, front and back story called The Haunted House, and I gave it to my parents when I was 7, and they, made me write my name on it, Natasha, age 7, and she kept it, and when she gave me the box after high school, she was really cool with my brother. She made him, a scrapbook of all his achievements. Me, I got a box. She was like, I'm not doing it again here. I was like, thanks, Ma. But it had that story from when I was 7. So, yeah, there was my first story.
When we moved here, we moved from Maryland to New Mexico 2 years ago, and as we were packing things up, I found in my old files my story that I wrote in 2nd grade that won the Young Authors Contest, and I still have it. And that was when I decided, oh, I am so good at this, I'm going to be a famous author someday.
That's awesome.
I won a contest.
I do think everybody who wants to write should dream of being a famous author, because it's kind of like that quote, what is it? Aim for the moon, because even if you'll miss, you'll land among the stars. So it's like, strive for the best that you can be. Why not dream that you're going to be a father? There's nothing wrong with that.
The sappiest thing that's ever come out of your mouth. First off.
What? Be quiet. Shush you.
Second off. See, you guys all wrote stories. I hate what got me into writing.
Which was?
I used to write speeches for funerals when my friends and family died. Every time somebody would die, they'd be like, "You're really good with words. Could you write something?" And of course, I'm not going to say no, because somebody just died. You want to make people feel worse. So I'm like, okay. And I guess what I spent from 7th grade all the way up until high school. Every time somebody died, I had to write 5 pages of shit to say at somebody's funeral. It's so depressing. It's probably why I write stories now. Man.
So, Veronica, for the queries, what is it you look for, when you're going through the queries? What is it? Is it a good hook? Is it a solid stakes outlining in the query? What is it you look for?
For me, I'm looking for characters that I can connect with, because for Pitchwars, we can fix the hook, we can amp up the stakes, but if it's not a character that I want to spend the next 2 months with, then we'll just both be miserable.
No bueno.
No bueno.
I'm practicing my Spanish that I started today. It's a class I'm taking. So, and Shana, what about you?
Well, I do think characters is a very good answer, but one thing I also looked for is that the writing's there, because I feel like one thing you can't really change is voice. You could fix a character even if they're not the best, and plot and rewrite the query, but you can't really fix someone's voice.
Okay, so voice and characters. Veronica, is there a story or a trope or something you're just sick of saying overall? And not just for Pitchwars, I just mean overall.
They're thinking really hard about that.
I am slightly burnt out on dystopian in YA a lot, because there was a lot of books that came out. I think probably a lot of people feel the same way. I still like vampires, though.
So vampires are okay, but no dystopian for Shana.
Yes.
I think dystopian is the one that I'm most burnt out on. There was one dystopian series that I was so into and so excited about, and the 3rd book came out, and I had to slog my way through, and it was actually the best written of the 3, but I guess I'm just burnt out on it. I should have waited a while to read it, because I ended up not liking it just because I was looking for something a little more upbeat and happy by now.
So then, so blood and gore obviously is a pass for both of you, and that's for the adult, the new adult, and the young adult. Because guys, if you're just tuning in, Shana does adult and new adult, and Miss Veronica does young adult. So we have 2 mentors covering all the spans. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You guys are awfully quiet tonight. It's amazing. So obviously that's another thing. Anything else that kind of turns you off for YA, and even a contemporary setting? Anything you just don't want to see?
Anything I don't want to see?
Yeah, even in a contemporary setting. We know the blood and gore is something neither one of you like. You both like the lighter stuff, which is awesome. And so, is there anything else that you guys kind of don't like? You're just like, not my thing.
I really don't like seeing disabilities that are the story is the disability.
Okay.
It really bothers me when there's an issue that they think the entire character can be defined by this one part of the character, whether it's skin color or disability or sexual orientation or religion, or you can't define a person by one part of their character and make it be a real person.
Okay. I like that answer actually because I agree with that. I think there's so much more to a person than any one of those things. I think a lot of things make up a person, and so too make up a character. So, Shana!
I'm trying to think of a good answer, but I would say I'm probably not the biggest fan of high fantasy. I think it's a great genre in its own right. It's just not really for me. That's probably one thing I generally stay away from. I like contemporary fantasy, just not like where everyone has, I don't know, weird names that I can't follow. I don't watch Game of Thrones. It's too violent, but something like that probably wouldn't be for me.
I think you're like the first person ever who is just like, no, I'm not watching Game of Thrones because it's too violent.
I have zero interest.
I would be the second person. I've never watched it.
I'm so disappointed, man.
I'm not disappointed. I kind of think I'm just more shocked by the answer if it's too violent because I don't normally hear that. Normally, what I hear is more people have a problem with the sex.
No, that's fine. I have no problem with that.
Okay, well, see, but that's normally what I hear. There's too much sex in it, not the violence. Like, so I'm just in awe that
that's because everybody likes the violence. But let me look. Even Game of Thrones fans, when the Red Wedding happened, all shit a golden brick. So the violence was too much. Like, that's the truth, guys. If you're on the feed right now and you're a Game of Thrones fan, I want you to post in the thing how many of you damn near died when the Red Wedding happened. You know you did.
I do have to say, though, I said I'm okay with the sex, but I haven't actually seen it, so I might not be. I don't know.
There's a lot of sex.
I'll send you some clips, Shauna. You're good. You can find out.
No, thank you.
She's like, no, thank you. It's okay.
Just watch season 2. It's the one with Jason Momoa in it. Just watch season 2.
Yes, Tiff is a massive Jason Momoa fan. Like.
Oh. And in that show, all you get to see is his ass. So it's
when I went to SuperCon in Miami, I had to get her pictures of Jason Momoa. And I'm like working my way through a crowd. I don't even care about this guy, and I'm working my way through a crowd with my camera just to get pictures for her.
It was fantastic.
Now, man, on the other hand, you love him long time, but
I do. Long time.
So you both write YA. And these are both your debut novels, right?
Yes.
12 Steps and Alice in Wonderland High?
That's
yep.
But you said, Veronica, you write middle grade as well. Do you already have a middle grade novel out?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So this is 12 Steps is your debut novel all around for every... Right. Okay, yeah. Awesome. So, and you're working on a middle grade?
Mm-hmm. And I also write picture books, so...
So, okay, you're the first person we've had on, I think, that does picture books, so maybe enlighten us a little on that. Like, how does one write a picture book?
It's different than writing a novel. You have to be able to tell an entire story in 500 to 600 words.
It's a short...
And you still need the fully developed character and the plot arc and the conflict and the stakes and everything that you have in a novel, just super, super condensed.
And then do you have to find your own personal illustrator for that, and do you work closely with them?
Generally, unless you are an author illustrator,
mm-hmm.
The publisher likes to pick their own illustrators. They generally have an illustrator in mind when they read the manuscript if they're looking to publish it, and so yeah, you just send the words out there and hope. So you need to tell a story that can. The key to a good picture book is you want a story that works well enough, words alone, that it evokes images, but you need to leave enough space and not describe things enough, leave enough space for the illustrator to draw pictures that are not going to look redundant. So you can't describe everything.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And picture book is generally what age range? Like
3 to 8.
Okay.
Maybe.
like I said, you're the first picture book guru we've had on here, so I figured I'd get some info out there for everybody who's curious about it. So, so Shauna, are you planning on, like, is Alice in Wonderland High, is that like a series?
No, right now it's standalone.
It's a standalone. Are you planning on, like, are you working on your next novel? Is that also going to be YA?
I'm currently revising a YA sci-fi for my agent.
That's awesome. I like sci-fi. Yeah. One of my favorite sci-fi books is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I don't know if you've read it.
It's on my list. A lot of people have recommended it to me, so maybe I should bump it.
Fantastic. I love it. So, yeah. So, I forgot what I was going to ask. I'm having, like, a brain meltdown today with school starting and everything. I am so sorry. So, by the way, Lane, it's not Jason Ramona. It's Jason Momoa. He was the one who played Khal Dargo. So, he was also in Stargate Atlantis. And I think he's playing Aquaman. I think it's been officially confirmed he's going to do Aquaman. So, there you go. And Lane also says Game of Thrones is an awesome show. So, well, yeah, that's kind of established, but it's not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody. I think I watched, like, the first season, and then I fell out of it, and everybody's like, you gotta catch up, you gotta catch up. So I wound up watching seasons 2 and 3, like, right before season 4 started, only because it was free on demand. Like, okay. So, are you guys planning on only writing, like, you know, kids books, like YA, middle grade, picture books, or do you guys also, are you planning at some point, obviously no time soon with all the projects you've got coming up, expanding into adult, or?
I probably won't ever write adult because I'm told that I don't do an adult voice very well. That I just, even when I'm talking with people, my kids tell me that I just don't sound like a grown-up.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though. I mean, I always said I would run away with Peter Pan if I could and go live in Neverland and be a kid forever, so it's all good. What about you, Shana?
I do have a new adult that is currently sitting on my hard drive needing revisions, and I have some adult ideas, and I also have some middle grade ideas, so I'm kind of all over the map.
That's awesome, though, so that's a lot of fun, and that's Blood Moon is urban fantasy. I mean, they're both the adult. I think my protagonist in Redemption is a little too old, though they say 26 could be new adult, so I'm not really quite sure if it would be considered new adult or adult. And that's the one we're calling genre neutral, because nobody knows what genre. Like, we just don't know. So I'm waiting to have a beta or a CP who's like, no, it's definitely this, I promise, because I don't know what it is. I'm one of those writers who I get the story idea and I write it. I don't necessarily look at the market to see what's popular, what's going to sell, stuff like that. So I think for me it's going to be a hit or miss type thing.
Yeah. My middle grade was like that. It took some time before I pinned down the genre as magical realism.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I like magical realism books too. I pretty much like everything though, so I'm just not picky when it comes to reading. So I know that Shauna has to go here soon.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't be sorry.
Reading to do.
That's okay. No. Like I said, we know your time is precious, and we are so appreciative that you guys are even doing this. So is there anything that has been on your road to publishing that you would give advice to the people watching for them to know?
Google the Chuck Palahniuk. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I never say his name right. He's the guy who wrote Fight Club.
Yes.
Fight Club.
He has the best article ever that I've ever read on writing tips. It's about unpacking your verbs, and I found it to be like super helpful. So I suggest Googling that.
I don't think I've read that one by him. I've read the one where you don't do like the inner thoughts, like She Wondered and stuff like that. And
yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Oh, is that the one? So, okay, maybe that is Unpacking Your Verbs.
Yes.
I just forgot the title of it. Yes, I've read that one. It actually is really, really good.
That's my favorite article ever, so.
Yeah, and I just call him Chuck P because I slaughter his last name.
I know. I'm very bad at pronouncing anything, so.
And amazingly enough, he is like a very gory, violent writer.
I know. I've actually skipped entire chapters of his books.
I've read I've only read a couple of his. I'm working on it, and I think it's oh my god, it's the one set on the island. I don't know if you read that one.
Oh, Diary?
Diary, yes. That was really good. I was just, what's going on? Oh my god, what? So it's you know, he's definitely very gory, and like he has no problems. Like there's just, it's graphic. And I'm like, okay. So all right, so Unpacking Your Verbs by Chuck P.
Yes.
Don't know who that is. He wrote Fight Club. Go check it out.
Best article ever.
His advice. So, and anything you want to say to the Pitchwars contestants?
Good luck, I guess. I guess thank you for submitting to me. I'm very flattered, and I really enjoyed reading all your work.
It's I can't imagine what you guys are going through. There was actually people who were like, how can they just pick from one chapter? I'm like, do you really think, first of all, they have the time to take all of the submissions and read all of the full novels? I know they want to a lot, but they don't have the time for that. And to me, I would think it's like, you know, reading the blurb on a book or a sample chapter from the book. That tells you if you want to read more or not. Right. And I kind of figure that's what you guys are doing, right?
Exactly.
So you're doing like the blurb, which is the query, and then you're getting this first sample chapter, and from there is what you're basically, I mean, you can request extra chapters,
yeah.
but
we don't always. Last year I picked my mentee based on her first 5 pages in her query.
And that was another thing everybody was like freaking out about. I'm like, go back and watch like the 6 videos we posted. You will get every mentor telling you that even if they do request pages, that doesn't mean you're in. They might not have requested pages on someone, and they'll be the mentor because they already can tell from the first chapter. So, you know, everybody was kind of flipping out back and forth about that. So.
Yeah.
So, once again, this is Shana Silver. I know she has to go here in a minute because she's on a deadline. And so we will let you guys know you can follow her at Shana Silver for Twitter. Her website is Shana-Silver. This is S-H-A-N-A. I'm so sorry. I kept calling her Shana in previous episodes. I did not realize it was Shana.
I respond to everything. People say Shana, 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 Shana. I'll answer to it all.
I'm used to Shana having like a W or a U there after the first day, so I was like, Shana.
It really depends on where people are from. Like I work in New York City, so anyone from Long Island says Shauna, and anyone from like California says Shana. I don't know. So it's fine. I'll answer to anything.
So it's Shana-Silver.com, and her debut novel, Alice in Wonderland High, is coming out in spring of 2015. Make sure you make a note, and as soon as she gets more information, you'll have more information. So Emma says, thank you for your time, Shana. Yes. So thank you
for watching.
And it has been awesome having you on, and we'll see you around on Twitter. Guys, you can hit her up on Twitter. I'm sure if she has the time, she will be more than happy to answer any questions you didn't get to ask on the show.
Bye.
Bye, Shana. So, all right. So I don't know where Tiff went. Apparently, you know, but she's got 3 babies, so that happens. Are you knitting, by the way, or crocheting?
I am knitting. I get fidgety when I'm sitting.
Can we see? That's so cool. My aunt crochets like really, really well. I tried. I failed. I can't do it.
Yeah. I normally actually knit with recycled materials. I don't usually knit with yarn.
Uh-huh.
Like this bag. Don't know if you can see it.
I can see it.
That's recycled plastic grocery bags.
That's awesome. That's actually really creative.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And I also knit with strips of T-shirts and blue jeans and...
That's amazing.
Old videotapes.
That is just awesome. So, are you also doing the Right On Con?
Well, I'm popping in every now and again to look at queries and try to offer feedback. But I don't have anything of my own posted there because I'm very happy with my agent.
You've already got an agent, so you're good. And I'm pretty sure that, I'm told once you have an agent, it's not necessarily that you're querying so much as you're pitching an idea before you even write it at that point.
Right. Well, it's a little of both.
Okay.
It's a little of both. I have one that I'm working on now while we're waiting on another one. And once we finish with that one, hopefully this one will be ready for me to pitch.
That's awesome. So Nikki Roberti, one of our faithful watchers, she asked, how and when did you come up with the #Ego Club?
When I was doing my very first online pitch contest, I was getting really, really depressed and down on myself, and I was reading all of the judges' tweets and thinking every single negative one, oh, that's got to be me. And I was to the point where I was just like crying all the time, and I was like, this is silly. The good ones could just as easily be me because I don't know any of this. And so I decided I have zero faith in myself right now, so I'm just going to make everyone think that I am so super confident in my work that the judges are going to, even if they weren't impressed with me, they'll be so impressed by my confidence that they'll go back and look at my entry again and go, oh, this one is really better than I thought it was. And so I started, every time there was something positive, I would respond and say, oh, I'm just going to assume that's me.
So, okay, as apparently somebody who is so lost, what is Ego Club?
Ego Club. It's my way to get through a pitch contest. The rule is you just decide that every positive tweet mentioned about any manuscript, whether it's your genre, your category, anything, that is obviously you.
That's awesome, actually.
And any negative tweet, that is someone else.
Not me. I didn't do it.
That's not me.
Pointing the finger. That's awesome, and it definitely I haven't even seen anything about that. That definitely needs to be passed around for Pitchwars because there are so many people who are like, oh my god, that's me, I'm terrible. And I'm like, you don't know it's you. They're not sitting there pointing a finger and saying, this is you. So, but I think everybody is quick to say that the bad is theirs because it's a nerve-wracking road to walk for publication, and you want people to like it because you put so much into it. But again, it's a subjective competition, subjective industry. So
and as writers, we spend all day long imagining the worst case scenario for our characters. And so it's so easy to put ourselves in those worst case scenarios too.
Oh yeah, especially because we play the what if game a lot. Like
yes.
When you get stuck in a scene, well, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if I did that? What if they did that? So you play the what if game, which can kind of lead to anxiety.
Yes.
In real life.
Yes, it's so easy for that to spill over into real life.
It is. It really is. So Julia Carpenter's come on. She says, hi, I've never done a Google Hangout. And she wants to know if there's any way to get feedback from Pitchwars mentors if you're not selected. And I believe that's something that you guys aren't allowed to talk about. I think somebody said that before.
Well, it's an individual thing.
So you can't answer for everybody, in other words.
Right. I know for me personally, I will try to give a sentence or two of feedback to everyone who sent me an application, but I can't guarantee that I'll be able to do that because I do have deadlines, and I got more than twice as many submissions in my slush pile this year than I did last year. So
you guys are just overwhelmed with how many things you're getting.
Yes, but I will say that I did not have a single manuscript in my slush pile that I would tell the writer to give up on writing. You know, whether they're my selection or not, every single person in my slush pile has talent.
There you guys go. See, so even if you're not picked to be the mentee, it doesn't mean your work sucks. It doesn't mean you're a bad writer. But at the end of the day, to quote Highlander, there can be only one.
Yes. and there are at least 4 in my no pile right now that when those books, and I say when because I know it will happen, when those books hit the bookshelves, I will buy those books and I will read them. I'm just not the right mentor to get them there.
That's awesome. So Lane says Write On Con has been very useful, and Write On Con is for writers of children and young adult. If you're looking for something similar, there is Get Off My Lawn Con, which I believe they actually changed the URL for that today, I noticed, to actually Get Off My Lawn Con. Let me check really quick, which is the new one for adults. I just want to check because it used to be McLaren. Well, let's try this. McLaren.farm. Okay. Yeah, getoffmylawncon.com, which is so much catchier than McLaren. No offense. That is the one for adults, adult writers only. So you can go there and get your, same as Write On Con, you can get your query critiqued, your first 250, your first chapter, etc., and so on. So, and there's a lot of networking to be done at these cons and these competitions, guys. So, again, remember not only to keep your eye on the prize, but take a look around you and see what's going on so you can meet new people and you can get advice from the wonderful Veronica Bartles and everybody else who's been willing to come on the show and tweet and help everybody out. So, welcome back, Tiff.
She said.
And I am a big fan of Write On Con. I actually, 2011 was the first Write On Con that I did, and I participated in the live Q&A session with Jessica Sinsheimer, and after the Q&A, the official Q&A was over, she and I ended up carrying our conversation over onto Twitter, talking about recipes and food, and it lasted for 2 years. We tweeted back and forth at each other until I got up the nerve to query her, and now she's my agent. So.
Oh, damn.
That's awesome.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So,
Word your way into the world. I'm telling you, it works. Nobody believes me. That's a success story. Twitter flirting works, ladies and gentlemen. Do it.
Tiff, I was going to have you do your this and that for Shana, but she had to go.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. Next time. So what you'll have to do is you'll just have to email it to her and have her do it as a blog post instead. That's all.
There we go. We can do that, too.
Yeah, we can do that, too. And you're going to get hit up with that at the end. That's generally how we do the send-off is the this and that. And you get to choose between this and that. And I think we already kind of know one of her answers, though, because she doesn't like Game of Thrones. So I don't know if you want
to. I'll have to leave that one out.
I was going to say you might want to or tweak that one to something else because we know she doesn't watch Game of Thrones. So, and Tiff, you missed it. She knits from all recycled items. Like she showed me this bag that was knitted from old plastic bags. It's so cool.
Awesome.
She's like just not creative with words. She's creative with everything, and I'm jealous. I just want to.
Awesome.
So Emma says only one of my mentors tweet. The silence is deafening, skull crushing, awful.
Yes, I remember being on that side, and it's so hard when you're looking for little nuggets of help and inspiration and something to grab hold of. But I will say that some of the mentors, I mean, I feel like I'm overwhelmed by the number of applications that I got. There are some mentors who got twice as many as I did. So
When we heard the final numbers on how many were submitted, I was like, oh my
God. Yeah. There were like over 1,200 submissions this year, like individual submissions.
Amazing. I hear a cuckoo clock.
Yes.
That's awesome. My grandfather has like a ton of old clocks that you have to consistently wind every day. He's 95, so you can't really say anything. But he's got to wind them every day, and he's got one tall grandfather clock, and he's already setting up for Christmas in my parents' front yard because he lives with them because he's 95, and he's already setting up for Christmas. He's the most active 95-year-old I've ever met in my life. So. And then J.M. Robbins has joined us. Hi, J.M. Do mentors for Pitchwars also consider a writer's platform like agents do when selecting mentees?
Well, yes and no. It's not so much the platform that we consider, but we do, if we're deciding between two potential mentees, we'll look at your online presence, and if there's one person who is tweeting a bunch of "I hate the publishing industry" or some kind of bitterness, that's going to affect the decision because
it's also about personality.
Work with someone who's not willing to happily work with you.
I looked my tweet earlier. I was flirting with my query rejections. I was like, who's got 2 query rejections in their inbox? How you doing?
I don't know. I'm weird because every time I get a rejection, I smile.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why. I'm so weird. I'm like, oh my God, I got a rejection. I guess because it means I'm trying and I'm on the right path, especially if it's a personalized rejection.
And then I start singing Another One Bites the Dust.
Was the only rejection because I'd only sent out like before I found out about Pitchwars, I'd only sent out like 4 or 5 queries, and I've gotten 1 rejection back, and it was personalized. So I was like, I must be doing something right.
So you're just so special. I smile when I get a rejection, then I print it out, I put it in a binder, and I sing Another One Bites the Dust to myself.
Another one bites dust. What?
Yep.
My very favorite rejection ever. I went to a conference and the editor all through the conference talked about how she would never ever send a personalized rejection no matter what because she didn't want to encourage people that she didn't want to see more from. And after the conference, I sent her my manuscript and she sent me this long personalized rejection. And I framed that thing.
That's awesome. That reminds me, I don't even watch Castle, but everybody keeps telling me take my rejections and frame them and use them as motivation to keep trying, because apparently that's what Castle does. I don't even watch the show, but all right.
I keep mine in a binder.
Yeah, I do that too. I have my binder, so that I have all my like short stories and stuff in. That I print
I'm like, hey, look at my rejections because I'm awesome.
So, yes. Is Fiona still able to join us tonight, or?
I have no idea.
She was planning on joining.
I tweeted her.
She woke up.
She might still be sleeping.
Yeah, it's early morning where she is.
Oh, that's okay. Definitely. I can understand not wanting to get up in the early morning, believe me. Hey, it's Brenda. She says, hi, just wanted to cheer on Veronica. Every rejection is one step closer to a yes.
Yes.
That's Brenda Drake.
Hi, Brenda.
Yes, and Brenda is the reason that I've had success. And she wouldn't let me quit when I was hitting those query lows. She told me that I was not allowed to quit until I had 200 no's.
I don't think I'd quit if I had 200 no's. I'd do it just to spite them at that point. Like, I'm gonna find somebody.
After 200 no's, I would drink a bottle of Jack and rewrite my query that way.
That too. I might do a rewrite or something, which I posted both of my queries now are on Get Off My Lawn Con for Blood Moon and for Redemption, so like I said, feel free to tear them apart. And Nikki says, I love rejections too. I feel like it's a badge of honor and progress. it's definitely progress, and
you know, you can learn from even the absolute worst rejections.
Mm-hmm.
The very, very first contest I ever entered, it was not an online contest. It was one where you send in your chapter, and the reason I entered that particular contest was because every entrant was guaranteed feedback from one of the judges who were authors and agents and editors. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to enter this and I'm going to get feedback. And the rejection that I got from that contest was, you've given your main character friends, and she doesn't deserve friends because no one in their right mind would ever care about someone like this.
Damn.
Wow, that's
feedback.
Oh my gosh, that was so painful.
Damn.
That was probably the meanest, most awful rejection that you could possibly ever get.
Brenda, do you want to come on and talk rejections for us? You know, the more the merrier.
And yeah, I cried over that one, but then I rewrote the story, started it in a different place, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, this is my favorite character ever, I love her. So really, and the thing was, I had just started my story in the wrong place, and I started it in the middle of when she was having this really horrible, everything was going wrong in her life, and she came across as whiny.
No
whiny female characters are actually like my pet peeve for books. It was like one of the issues that I have at Twilight, because I think Bella Swan's character is a whiny bitch.
Kristen has joined us too. Kristen Marie at Arrows0303. Hey, sweetie. She says, I just got a new one today too, so that makes you and Tiff like rejection partners today.
Yeah.
She says, I'm going to tape it to the wall. That's awesome. Brenda says, I'm supposed to be writing.
You are supposed to be writing, Brenda.
Oh, Brenda's speeding. We're not going to yell at her, though, because we like when she's here, but...
Yeah, I know. We're instigators now. We're like, come chat with us. You know you'd love it.
You know you want to come hang out with us. We're so awesome. No peer pressure at all.
I remember the very first rejection I got for a short story that I submitted that I'm actually still working on was a year ago, and it was form. It was just like, not for us, fine, bye. And I had submitted it to like 3 different places, and one of them was like, by the way, it made it to the top 16, but it dropped something at the end, kind of just lost something, and we wound up deciding on somebody else. I was like, son of a bitch. Top 16 to me was like, oh my God, hi, how are you? So I was just like, that's pretty cool. So I don't know, and then when I got my first one for Blood Moon, I was excited that it was personalized. I mean, it wasn't like a long personalization, it was short personalization, but it wasn't form, so it's like okay.
Seriously, like the worst thing you can do in this industry is get overly depressed about a rejection. Like, rejections suck. They do, but getting all upset and stuff about them, it's not going to help you any, and rejection is just part of the industry. Like, you can't please everybody. There's always going to be somebody out there that doesn't like your shit. Like, that's life. You know what I mean?
It's part of the industry.
Even after it's published, there are people who don't like it.
Yes. And oh my God, authors, I don't care if you are traditionally published or self-published, don't go after people who leave bad reviews. That is the #1 thing that will turn me off from buying your book. Honestly. If I sit there and I go and I see the authors being like, well, they left a bad review, so I have to say something about it, and they like start getting on somebody about it, I'm like, no, I don't even want to deal with this.
Guys, leave it alone.
Leave it alone. You're going to get bad reviews. It's going to happen. Just part of this industry.
The fact of the matter is, you're probably going to get reviews that have nothing to do with your book.
So, Mary Beth Graham says, I feel the same way about rejections, but I'm starting to feel that I earned enough. I think I'm just starting since I just put Blood Moon out there. So,
Yes. Yeah, when you get to the point where you feel like you've earned enough rejections and you still haven't gotten it, then sometimes it's time to move on to the next project and start collecting rejections from that one.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with shelving a project, guys. Doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that maybe there's something more appropriate to be your debut.
After Blood Moon, I started writing an adult dystopian, and I got 20,000 words into it, and Redemption just hit me. Like, I mean, the muse for that hit me. I wrote that thing in like a month and a half, the rough draft. So yes, it needs a lot of work, but the muse for it hit me, and I had to write it. So Brenda says that publishing rejections hurt more. No doubt, no doubt. So, and then
sometimes.
Brenda goes, I'm stuffing my face, LOL. I go, yeah, because I'm going. But no, I think you're just saying that so you don't have to come on the air. See, so you're still not writing, so you can be productive and talk rejections with us. I'm such a bad instigator. I love you, Brenda. Brenda says, you need a poker face. No one needs to know how many rejections you've gotten on a certain manuscript. It makes agents wonder what's wrong with it. That is a good point, actually. So
yes, and not only that, even if they're not wondering what's wrong with it, no one wants to be the 30th or 40th choice. And so if they're interested and they go and they look at your website where you've kept a running total of how many rejections you have, and they see, oh, this person has 50 rejections so far, and this query just popped up in my inbox today, obviously I wasn't the top of their list.
Right. So, and you definitely don't want to make an agent feel like that. That's no bueno. So Emma says, I think you just pinpointed something so important, Veronica. As long as we keep ourselves open to change, we can progress.
Yes.
So I think that's one of the biggest problems with writers is a lot of them don't want to change some of their manuscript. And it's like, but you kind of gotta to make it better, to make it, publishing ready or whatever. And I had that problem with a lot of the critique partners in the beginning, that I would be like, look, this isn't working, and they were like, well, I don't think we should be critique partners anymore. And I'm just like, okay, sure, well, I guess.
It's hard, you get so connected with your characters and your story, and you feel like these are family members almost. And so it's hard to be told, okay, you need to kill off this guy because he's just not contributing to the story, and he may be your favorite character.
I jokingly yell at Tiff about that. She has a character in her book that I love that's not the protagonist, antagonist, or he's just a supporting character, and I'm like, I love him. And so when we get into like arguments, she'll be like, I'll kill off Dresden, and I'm like, stop it. So that's our little thing. But I understand that, but I also think, and I think there was a conversation about this on the Pitchwars feed between a few of the mentors the other day about how you should kind of let the CP, you don't have to take all the advice of your CP, you don't. It's just one opinion. But don't flip out about it. Take a moment, let it rest. It may hurt, and I've had some things told to me that hurt, and I'm like, I don't want to, but yeah, you're probably right. But remember, you can always keep the old version too, so there's nothing wrong with rewriting a scene and deciding then you don't like it and putting your old scene back in as well. But you got to be willing, I think, to try different things to see if it makes the story better.
Right. And you have to be willing to stand up for yourself too, because if you listen to every suggestion and every person,
you're going to lose the voice of your story.
Right. Your story just won't be your own.
Absolutely. JM is back. He says, I hear people talking about getting hundreds of rejections, but I'm so choosy as to which agents I submit to that I don't think I'd even find that many I feel would be the proper fit. I suppose that's a good thing, though. How choosy should you be?
Well, I can say for mine, I got choosier as time went by. My first manuscript, I pretty much, when I first started sending queries, it was just anyone who said that they represent young adult contemporary. And I sent queries to them. And then I ended up giving up on that manuscript because I didn't get into Pitchwars with it. And so I gave up on that manuscript in 2012, and I wrote just for kicks and giggles for my own self. I wrote the story of the little sister from the first manuscript that I had queried, and then I ended up loving it, and that became 12 Steps.
That's awesome.
And when I was picking agents to query for that one, I first went to any agents who had responded positively to my first manuscript, and that was my first query list. And then my query list for 12 Steps was about half of what it was for the first manuscript. And then I actually ended up, through a contest, I ended up with 2 publishing offers for 12 Steps, and so I ended up selling the manuscript before I got an agent for that one. But then when I queried my third manuscript, my middle grade, my query list got even more precise and pinpointed, and I only sent out just a handful of queries, and a week later Jessica offered representation. So yeah, it was trial and error. I started out kind of broad, but then I got pickier and pickier as I got to know the agents through being rejected.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like how the turn of this conversation has gone to rejections and the do's and don'ts. I love that. So regarding rejections, Ashlyn Kravitz, at Ashlyn Kravitz, who is laying over here, she says, rejections also put an end to the anticipation and you can move on. So
that's true.
That's true. You're not, consistently waiting on the will they, won't they. And then Nikki has a question for Veronica. She says, random question. When writing, are you a pantser or a plotter?
Mostly a pantser. I always, when I start a new project, I know my characters backwards, forwards, and inside out. Clear down to who their second grade teacher was, and I know where the story starts, I know the problem, and I know the ending, but pretty much everything in between just kind of is up in the air.
That really does sound like me, because I'm always like, I can write a beginning and I can write an end, but getting through that middle is a pain in the
ass. Although I will say the one that I'm working on now has several different plot lines tying together, and I actually did have to write an outline because it was just, I couldn't keep everything straight.
So it was more of an outline as you're going along, though, or you're like pre-plotting?
I started writing it, and I got the first scene, and it wasn't working, and I rewrote the first scene, and it still wasn't working, and I rewrote it again and again and again, and after about 3 months of being stuck on the first scene, I realized that I couldn't write the second scene because I didn't know how to tie in the 2 other complicated subplots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to put it all aside and actually write a detailed step-by-step outline of what happened. And it's been an interesting experience. Such a different experience writing with an outline.
That's awesome. I did that a little bit. Like if I outline, it's normally like I did it for NaNoWriMo. That's the only time I actually do an outline, just so that I can get it done in the month. But I don't put specific details, because I find if I put myself make specific details in an outline, I always wind up veering away from it, because my characters at some point decide, no, that's not gonna happen. And if I'm staying true to the characters, that's not gonna happen. You know, so I decided to do like more major plot points of what I know, arcs I know I want to have happen in the book, and then kind of get there, see how it happens. If I don't like it, I'll absolutely rewrite it. And yes, I've had arguments with my characters before, which, you know, again, I have a psychologist and a psychiatrist, people, okay? I don't know what to tell you. So, JM says, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And feel free to ask more. And Lane says she has a series Bible.
That's impressive. That's dedication.
I have a Scrivener that lets me do all that. It lets me. That's one of the things I like about Scrivener's. It has the index cards for your scenes, so you can do a quick glance to see what's going on in your scenes, and you can drag them to reorder them or whatever. You've got, you know, all your research, your characters, everything in one place. It makes my life so much easier.
Yeah. Generally, for me, after I finish my first draft, I'll pull out a calendar and I'll write the scenes on the calendar so that I know, like, what day it happens, so that I get the spacing right and I can rearrange things. And okay, if she goes to sleep on Monday night, when she wakes up in the morning, it should not be Friday.
I've done that. I'm like, wait, where did that day go? What happened now?
I let my characters sleep for days on end, so it's perfectly okay to go to sleep on a Monday and wake up on a Thursday.
One thing I used to do when I first started, like, actually writing novels, I would have my characters go to sleep or get tired when I did. And I was like, wait, no, I can't do that. They're getting tired and going to sleep all the time in this story. What's going on here? So I had to realize that just because I'm getting tired does not mean my characters are getting tired. I can't put them to bed just because I'm going to bed. They will have to be on pause in the middle of their scene until I wake up tomorrow.
I leave my characters in the weirdest scenes. Like when I do that, like, 'cause I'll write something, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm done writing, and then I realize where I left them, and I'm like, that's a hell of a place to just suspend a character.
Yeah.
So, like, in my work in progress, there's this, like, whole chapter that's just like a giant ass torture scene. My main character torturing others, not me torturing my main character, I promise. And they totally deserved it, just for the record, so nobody, like, you sick bitch. No, they deserve it. But I wrote it, and then just, like, right in the middle of the scene, like, she was about to do something, and I was like, I think I'm done. She's just going to stand here with a knife in her hand for 2 days because I don't know what I want to write next.
We share our stuff on Google Docs as we're writing our work in progress, is just so as we're CPing, like, we don't comment on it other than we like it or we don't like it. Like, we don't work on it until we go through our first series of self-edits. But this way we know what we're walking into as we do the work in progresses, so when we go to CP, it makes it easier. And she'll sit there and be like, half the chapter's up. I'm like, nope, I'm not reading it until you're done. Nope.
She knows it could be a few days.
Yep, nope. So Emma asks, on average, how long does it take you guys to write a book? My 77K YA took 9 months of writing every night.
I'm not saying mine. Not doing it.
I've had a different timeline for every single book that I've written.
The shortest amount of time.
My first manuscript, my first YA novel, the first draft took me about 3 weeks. It just kind of poured out. And
How long was the word count?
Huh?
Gotta give us the word count, Veronica. Come on.
The word count on it was like 65,000, something like that.
Wow.
But it was, yeah, that one just was so easy to write that first draft. Of course, it was absolutely horrendous. and there was no plot until I completely rewrote the thing. But
that's what happened with Blood Moon. It was my Nano from last year, and it was like, but I didn't write that linear at all. So it was like, in order to win NaNoWriMo, I decided, well, I'm going to write the scenes that are just musing me. So I would write all those scenes. And then after Nano, I had to go back and write connective scenes to make everything make sense. So by the time I was done, I called it draft 1.5 because I refused to call it my second draft because it was just like, connected now. Now let's go through the edits. So
thank you for your compliment, Lane.
My middle grade novel, I think it took 3.5 years to write because it was so intensely personal that I had to keep stopping and putting it away. And I never thought I was going to actually finish writing the thing. And I figured I would just, I kept putting it away and saying, I'm done. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So yeah, that one took forever.
It's also definitely hard when you get to scenes where something's going to happen to a character you really, really care about, but you're like, man, this has to happen to move the story forward. And you're just like, I don't wanna. But you do it. So that does make it difficult to write. So, yeah, E.L. Wicker over here is laughing at me for the fact that I put my characters to sleep when I went to sleep. She's like that. What did she say? She goes, I just snort laughed at that. Thanks.
I eat the same things that my characters eat. Whatever book I'm writing, I crave whatever my main character's favorite foods are.
That's hilarious. It's like you're having sympathy cravings.
Yes. For 12 steps, I wanted Oreos constantly. And giant brownie scent.
God, I'm really glad that I didn't do that because if that happened with the auction block, I would have done nothing but drink tequila the whole time.
Her character went from never drinking to tequila every time, every night, like, because the housemaid would be like, no, you need tequila. No, something's wrong. You need tequila. I'm like, okay.
The really awesome Mexican housekeeper, every time my character gets upset, she just walks into the scene with a tumbler and a bottle of tequila, like, here, this will make you feel better, and just walks out.
Like she has a sixth sense. She knows Lily's upset. Here's tequila.
That's tequila. That's how we do, man.
Oh my
and
God.
Lane, it took me more than only a few days. Let's not make my ego huge. It took more than a few days. Calm down. I'm not that cool.
Your ego huge? Is that what you said? Make it huge?
Yeah, let's not. Yeah, let's not make it bigger than it already is. Where the sideboard writing is concerned.
Nikki says, when I got hungry while writing, my characters get hungry with attitude problems. Oh no, they get angry with attitude problems. I'm sorry. I think she added an H on there, so I thought she spelled hangry meant to be hungry, but I think the H is just random. It's supposed to be angry with attitude problems. It's like the Snickers commercials. You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
So, Emma says, I can honestly say I've never craved what my characters eat. I think if I craved what my werewolves ate, that would be like,
not
really
good.
Gross. I'd be a cannibal.
That would be institutional worthy?
Definitely institutional worthy. Let's not do that. So apparently there is a new Pitchwars game going on. So the new game is Where I Write. So this hashtag is going on in the Pitchwars feed right now. So where do you write, Veronica?
I write everywhere. I have special pencils. In fact, here, that I started collecting when I was in 3rd grade, when I decided that I was going to be a professional writer someday. I bought all of the really pretty pencils from the school store, and I told all of my classmates that I was not going to sharpen them until I was ready to write the book that was going to be my first published book. And that I was going to write my first book with those pencils. And so when I decided that I was finally grown up enough that I was going to be a writer, I pulled out those pencils and I sharpened them.
That's awesome.
And so I got in the habit. All of my first drafts are written with these special pencils and just a plain old spiral notebook.
You brave.
No, I handwrite too, but generally it's when I'm out. Like, I have a little mini pocket-sized notebook that I just do little notes on and stuff like that. As for where I write, I have a laptop, so I'll write on my balcony, I'll write down by the pool, I'll write in the living room, I'll write here at my desk. It just all depends for me. What about you, Tiff?
Well, usually I write in this fancy office that you're seeing. For Auction Block, though, it was different because I wrote the first draft of Auction Block, which was only 76K. And then the day after I finished that, I'm not going to tell you how long that took. The day after I finished that, we went to Auction Block is based here in Baltimore. So we went to this little beach by our house called Rocky Point State Park. And the kids were in the water and stuff, and I was just like, I got a whole bunch of ideas. So I messaged a couple of my CPs at the time, and I was like, I'm going to rewrite the book. And they were like, what do you mean you're going to rewrite the book? I was like, I'm scrapping this bitch. I was like, I'm going to rewrite the whole thing. So I went home that night and started writing, and then the rewrite ended up being, which is what it's at now. And I'm not going to tell you how long that took either, but it didn't take very long. Which is why I'm dubbed the cyborg. I really just have no life, guys. That's why I write as fast as I do. Really. I don't have a life.
I've been
Tasha's like
that hangry, Hangry, is a real word. It means hungry plus angry. So I've been informed that's a real word. So hangry. Okay. Did not know that. So we have a question from JM again. Do you feel your gender matters to the readers if you're targeting the opposite sex? I thought people would find it weird for a grown man to write as a teen girl, so I just used my abbreviations as to not turn off potential readers.
I don't think so. I mean, look at Richard Peck. I mean, he is one of the most popular YA writers ever, and he writes amazing teen girl characters, and I don't think anyone has ever called him into question on it.
I think if you write the character true and, you know, make her a teen girl and everything like that, I don't think it's going to be a problem either. I really don't. I mean, Wally Lamb writes really, and he's adult, but he writes really crazy, tragic stuff, and he'll do it from female points of view, and you'd never know. Like, if there was no author name on there, you wouldn't necessarily know it was written by a man. I think people, too, put too much into it. If it's written by a man or a woman and the protagonist is male or female, I don't really think it matters, as long as it's a good story and it's a good character.
Here we go. I have one for this one, actually. So, Tasha and I both know this author, so I have his book with me. The author is Matthew Cox. The book is Caller 107. Matt is obviously a dude. Caller 107 is his first young adult novel, and the protagonist is a 13-year-old girl named Natalie. And I read this book, and no joke, I messaged Matt, and I said, I can't believe that you got the female side of these emotions as good as you did being a dude. Like, I've seen female authors not be this accurate. So I don't think that your gender matters. I just think it matters if you know your character, because Matt's character in this book is phenomenal. Like, the emotions that she feels and the way Matt nailed them are just ridiculously good. So, yeah, I don't think it matters.
I think that's consensus.
I hug my signed copy.
As long as you're true to your character and your story.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah. So, so Nikki posted that where I write is, my space is on a particular sofa. Hubs begs me to write at a desk, but nope. I can see her with her feet propped up on him. Just like No, I'm comfy. Thanks, babe. It's good. I'm just gonna don't talk to me right now. I'm writing. No, but you can have your feet on me. Yep. Now I'm writing.
I have to change where I'm writing, like almost daily. I can't write and be creative in the same spot 2 days in a row.
I can if I'm on the water. The water is like my and it's always been that way even without writing. Like there's something about me and the water. So luckily, I live on the water, so I can just go sit out back on the patio. I live right on the water, and I'm just like, so pretty.
Yeah, I live in South Florida. If you sit outside in the sun with your laptop, it's going to turn off from overheating. So
I miss living near the water. There's like no.
Right, you're from Maryland, aren't you, Veronica?
Yeah, I moved from Baltimore to New Mexico 2 years ago, and it's too dry here.
Somebody who's from my neck of the woods. Yeah.
I actually always wanted to go to New Mexico. I love like Native American culture, so I think that would be like an awesome place to go to see some of the heritage and everything like that.
Yeah, there are some neat things. It's just so dry. There's no water.
It's fully landlocked, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no water at all. Sorry. So Jessica says, at Moby desk, large heavy steel, an immovable object against one wall. So Laura Brown, where I write cross-legged, hunched over on my bed. I have the therapy bills to prove how bad this is. Don't copy me. Tiff has actually laughed at me because my bed behind us, I'll sit there and I'll have my laptop and I'll be in bed and I'll get down on my belly with my hands and I'll just start kicking my feet like I'm a teenage girl talking to a friend of mine just because it makes her laugh. So that's the only reason I do it. I'm like, hey, Tiff, what's up? She's like,
what's up? 12.
Oh, yeah, my hair was in pigtails that day, too. That's why she was like, you look like you're 12. What are you doing?
Like, I'm waiting for somebody to, like, hack my computer and, like, the cops show up thinking that I'm, like, an online predator sitting here talking to a 12-year-old. Like, can't we just look adult for 10 minutes, guys, please?
So, but, yeah, I like, I generally write in my room, whether it's on my bed or at my little corner desk here, because we live in a condo and there's 3 of us, me, my husband, and my brother. So it's like never empty. There's always somebody around, so I just come in here and I hide and do my thing. So.
And then sometimes when she's supposed to be writing, she plays music and dances like an idiot in front of her camera, which is also amusing. Like that. It looks just like her.
Right now I'm on a 90s kick because
it's driving me nuts.
90s I jammed out to music. So it's like I've been on a 90s kick. So I went through and I found a whole bunch of 90s playlists and I just took the ones that I liked and made new playlists. So she'll come on, I'll just blast like, this is how we do it. I can't sing, I'm sorry. You know, and I'll just be there dancing and she's like, what's wrong with you?
As I like slam my face into the keyboard, like, what the f is wrong with my best friend? Why?
I'm kind of creative. Okay.
I got on the other day and she's listening to Vanilla Ice, and I'm just like, what the f, man?
Hey, they have him in that commercial now for the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where he is like the song from the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the original one, The Secret of the Ooze.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's in a commercial now where he looks like himself now, and there's a mom, and he's singing the rap song. He's like, go ninja, and she walks up and she starts doing it. She's like, go ninja, go. And he's talking cereal, and the kid's looking at her like, what's wrong with you? Seriously?
My mom has flipped.
So, JM said when I started writing it, I had someone pose the question about the gender to him, so he thought he'd ask someone in the industry. So, but like I said, I think the consensus on that is if you stay true to your story and you stay true to your character, it doesn't matter if you're writing a male or a female. Both of my novels have sections from male point of view, so I don't think it's any different as long as you're true to the character.
Right, and that's the thing. You just have to get the voice right. Mm-hmm. You know, I've read books and I've read manuscripts where it's like a man writing from a female perspective and it sounds like a teenage boy and not a teenage girl. That doesn't work. Or I've read where a woman is writing a male character and it sounds like a teenage girl, not a teenage boy. But I've read many, many, many that work.
Yeah, but I don't think that has to do with gender so much as how you're writing it.
Right. Yeah. It's just, you know, if it works, it works. You just have to get the voice right.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It matters who your character is. You just have to get inside that head.
Yeah, and you have to realize that your character's not you, and I think that's where a lot of problems come with when you're trying to write somebody of a different gender, that people try to think more of what they would do than what the character would do, and you just have to kind of put aside what you would do and realize what the character themselves would do, which comes back to staying true to the character and not letting your
Both of your male characters are good, Tasha.
Huh?
Both of your male characters are good. Dalton's point of views are great, obviously. And Aiden's are good. I think Aiden's might be my favorite. But you write male characters well. Keep up the good work.
Well, I also, like I said, I don't think about what I would want. I would think about what they would want. You know, how they would respond. And I think we just lost Veronica.
Oh, no!
Veronica!
No!
Damn technical difficulties. Damn you, Google.
Google's been being a pain today. I don't know what it is. And Tiff, you're also frozen.
Oh, no.
Here she is. She's back.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you, we had the problem with Shana first, trying to get her on. Like, it kept bringing her to a blank one. And we're like, what's going on with Google today? Welcome back.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked a button. Moved my mouse and accidentally...
Maybe this time it was user error. We were complaining about how...
It's okay. We were bitching out Google.
No, I moved my mouse and it opened a window, and I tried to close that window and it closed the Google chat instead.
Whoopsie. So JM says, I brainstorm during mundane activities like cleaning, but my actual writing is always done at my PC. I have to be alone when I write. See, I don't necessarily have to be alone when I write. I'm really good at tuning people out. My husband will be like, Tasha, lady. And I'm like, sorry, what?
The only reason I like to be alone when I write is because when I do dialogue, I tend to say it right after I write it to see if it sounded right, and sometimes I just sound like a jackwagon. Mostly because of the shit that my characters say. My husband's like, what are you writing? And I'm like, just ignore it, hon. Just walk away, okay?
It's completely out of context. Moving along.
Yeah, like I'm like, it's completely out of context. Just walk away now.
So Emma says,
I write the best dialogue when my teenage kids are in the room with me, because I read it out loud and they're like, yeah, Mom, my friends wouldn't say that.
She's got hands-on help right there. She knows the lingo because she's got 2 teenage kids. So Emma says, I have to write at night when everyone is in bed, sometimes until 5 or 6 in the morning. Otherwise, all I hear is, Mom, and I can't concentrate.
No, it's like, I want to change my name sometimes when I write. They're like, hey, Mom, and I'm like, Mommy left. Must keep going. Mommy's not here. Dun, 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 dun.
Margarita said, where I write during the day on the treadmill desk in my home office, at night on the beat-up living room sofa.
Nice.
So, Tiff, do you want to start preparing for the this or that? It's 9:45, so don't want to keep.
Yeah, hold on.
Longer.
Let me go downstairs and get my pad of paper that has it on it.
Really, this whole time? Never mind. Not saying nothing. Just gonna sit here. So while we wait on that, Veronica, is there anything you want to say to the Pitchwars mentees, potential mentees? You know, any advice you want to pass along?
Oh, just don't get discouraged and don't give up. I mean, 2 years ago, I was entering Pitchwars. It was the very first Pitchwars, and I entered the contest, and I was so hopeful, and I did not get in. And it was so disheartening and so discouraging, and I completely gave up on that manuscript just because I figured, well, if it's not good enough, then there's no point, and so I tossed it away, but I couldn't give up on it entirely, and so that's when I wrote the story of the side characters from that manuscript, which, you know, I wrote it. It became 12 steps, and wrote it as a NaNoWriMo project in 2012, and May of 2013 I had two offers of publication, and it became my debut novel. And so I consider myself a Pitchwars success story because I did not get in. So sometimes your path takes you not the way you think you're going to go.
You'll have an unexpected detour along the way, so be prepared.
and actually, every single great thing that has happened to me has started out with everything going wrong.
Silver linings?
It works that way.
Yeah. Sometimes rejections and disappointments are exactly what you need.
It humbles you, that's for sure. So.
Well, and sometimes, you know, I never would have written 12 steps in the first place, because, you know, everyone always says, you know, don't write your sequel until you sell your first book. And so I had this idea in the back of my mind, but I was not giving myself permission to write it until I sold that first manuscript. And so it wasn't until I gave up on that manuscript that I gave myself permission to write this story that had been...
But 12 steps, it doesn't really go in like a linear series sequence. This is a standalone, right?
Right, it is a standalone.
So, I mean, if it would have been a second one to what you already wrote, it probably would have been a harder sell.
Right.
So, Tiff, you got your notebook? Tiff? I thought she was back. She's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, she's frozen on my screen too.
All right, so let's see, guys. While we wait for Tiff to unfreeze, because I know I heard her just a minute ago, we're gonna wrap up here as soon as we get Tiff back to do this and that. If anybody has any last questions for Veronica Bartles, please go ahead and do tell. Her website again is vbartles. BARTLES.com. You can also follow her. She keeps everything the same, so I love her. At VBartles for Twitter. And her debut novel is 12 Steps, and came out in March, you said?
Yes.
And it came out in March, so make sure you pick it up. And I believe she said that Books A Million may have it on sale. So check it out. Do that thing. Emma asks, how do you feel about self-publishing?
I think that it is a valid path for a lot of people. Personally, I didn't want to self-publish my first novel because I don't have that business marketing sense, and it takes a lot of work to self-pub. I may at some point decide that I have a book that needs to be self-published, but right now I'm not. My big thing about self-publishing is it needs to be a choice, not a fallback option. You don't self-pub because you gave up on traditionally publishing. You self-pub because that's what you want for your novel. And if it's right for your novel or for your self-help book or whatever book you have, if it's right, then that's the right path for you.
I agree with that very much, because me, I'm much like you, Veronica. I don't want to be my own marketer. I don't want to do my own business for it, because I'm going to suck at that really bad. So that was one of my big factors deciding on whether I wanted to self-publish or traditionally publish was, am I going to be able to market this so it gets out? No, I'm probably not. So,
although I will say that the experience with 12 Steps, I've learned a lot of marketing techniques that would position me better for self-publishing in the future if I decide to do that.
Very cool. So, Tiff, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
All right, this or that. You know how this game works, Veronica?
Yeah,
All right.
I think.
So I'm going to give you 2 options, and you have to pick one.
All right.
All right. So the first one is chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Has to be Chips Ahoy because Oreos have an oil in them that I'm allergic to.
Aw.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I like Oreos. I like chocolate better than anything. So if you give me an option with chocolate in it, it's going to be chocolate.
Yeah. Which,
Right,
you know,
Kit Kat,
was really sad.
Reese's.
Kit Kat or Reese's?
Mm-hmm.
Reese's for the exact same reason. I'm allergic to the oil in Kit Kat.
We're 3 for 3.
Damn. Vampires or werewolves?
Werewolves.
Yes, we're 4 for 4. I love it.
Bill Cosby or Arsenio Hall?
Bill Cosby.
All right, Tasha, here's your determining factor. Country music or pop music?
Sorry, you cut out there. I didn't hear the question.
Country music or pop music?
Oh. It depends on my mood.
Which one do you prefer to listen to more?
Generally pop music because I don't like the whiny twanginess of country music.
That's how I feel about pop music.
but then again, you know, there are some country artists that are my absolute favorites. So, and there are some pop artists that I absolutely can't stand.
All right, next one is
way out, no explanations.
What's that?
You're taking the easy way out, no explanations.
Yep.
Tiff, breathe. It's okay.
All right, Angelina Jolie or Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston, because Angelina Jolie irritates me.
Ebook or paperback?
Although I did like her in what was the last
Maleficent?
I loved her in Maleficent.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I loved it. It was like the first anything I've ever seen with Angelina Jolie that I actually enjoyed.
He's hit or miss for me. So.
I love Jolie. I'm a big Jolie fan, so I can't say anything.
Tiff, did you freeze? Tiff?
I don't know. Did I?
There you go. You're back.
All right. Ebooks or paperbacks?
Both. I love curling up with a paperback and turning the pages and stuff, but at the same time, my Kindle goes with me everywhere.
That's the only great thing about an e-reader is it's so much easier to take everywhere, and you have multiple books as opposed to putting like 5 paperbacks in your purse.
Right. And, you know, I guess I have to say ebooks, because 12 Steps is an ebook, so that edges it out.
Yeah, I do paperbacks and ebooks. My Kindle is my BFF.
I have a tablet that has the Kindle app on it.
Here.
I have all of my Pitchwars submissions on my Kindle right now.
Or I have a Kindle somewhere too. I just don't use it anymore. So.
I also have a Nook.
All right, so the next one is not fair.
Huh?
There's a Nook.
Percy Jackson.
Yes.
She finally got somebody. Everybody else has said Harry Potter. Everybody. So you are the first person to say Percy Jackson. So she is so thrilled right now. You could look, see where she's frozen. I think she's having some connectivity issues again.
Yeah. I will confess, I've never actually read Harry Potter.
Really? They're good books, definitely. I picked up the first one on sale at Barnes & Noble's, like at the bargain books, and that's how I got into it. So it was already out to the third or fourth book by the time I started reading. And then by the time we rolled around to the last book, my dad was stealing the books as I bought them because he started reading them after me, and then he didn't want to wait, so he just kept taking mine while I was reading them. So when the last one came out, I had to buy 2 copies, and I said, here, leave mine alone. So, Tiff, can you speak?
Yeah, next one. Edgar Allan Poe or Shakespeare?
Edgar Allan Poe or who?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Oh, that's a tough one. I guess I'd have to say Shakespeare just because he has a bigger range.
I like Shakespeare.
You're from Baltimore. You realize that, right?
Yep, I do.
And you just did not choose Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe is one of my all-time favorite American authors.
Yeah, he is pretty bad.
Absolutely love him. But, you know, if I have to choose between them...
I know, I'd like giving people hard choices. All right, next one. Another hard choice. Brad Pitt or George Clooney?
George Clooney. Yes. I think Brad Pitt is goofy looking.
Really? Okay, I wouldn't say he's goofy looking. I would definitely choose Brad Pitt over George Clooney.
No.
But not when he's like clean shaven. I prefer Brad Pitt like with the beard and the scruff.
Yeah.
All the way. I'm just saying. All right, and last one, because it's 10 o'clock and it's the big one. Of course.
All right. Ooh.
What was the question? Because I didn't hear it, so I don't know.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Man.
Oh. I have like every Star Wars movie pretty much memorized, and I watch Star Trek all the time. So
sounds like me.
I'm one who would go to a Star Wars convention in a Star Trek uniform, and vice versa, just to be annoying to the...
Okay, we had people come to the Renaissance Festival last year dressed up in Star Trek uniforms.
Okay. That's interesting.
And hot in South Florida. I was like, yeah, I know you're dying. So what's the final?
I think I have to say Star Wars as my final answer there. Just because
I like Star Wars, I just don't consider episode 1, 2, and 3 as Star Wars. When you say Star Wars, I only consider...
I have to, Sasha. I got to read.
And these both came out the weekend I was born.
Oh, really? All right, guys. Well, we got to wrap it up. It is 10 o'clock. We want to thank Veronica so much for being here. She has been a most wonderful guest. Thank you for answering questions and dealing with our craziness. Tiff had to run. Something came up with the kids, but she had to run. So she'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we do have Jenna and Brighton coming on. So get your questions ready. And you guys can hit up Veronica at Bartles if you have any more questions for her, because she is so nice and so wonderful and so creative, especially. Oh, my God. And pick up her book, 12 Steps. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks.